Hello there. Welcome to a first in a series of episodes where we're going to learn the basics of Google Sheets, which is the Google Apps product for spreadsheets or the Microsoft Excel equivalent. I have this sample spreadsheet, which I guess I can make available to you if you'd like to play around with it. But here in the video, you can see I have used it to plan an outline. And so, yeah, let's just dive right in. So, first off, what is a spreadsheet? We can take a look at Wikipedia to see. It's a way to organize and analyze and store data in tabular form. Tabular meaning table. You can read all about the history here. And what's really good about a lot of these Google products, but I think in particular Google Spreadsheets, is that there's a lot of built-in help. And so you can go up to help and do that. And as we go into the formulas behind how to manipulate and make use of the data, you'll see there's a lot of in-context help. Of course, searching the web is your friend. A lot of people have been asking the same questions that you have, whether you're brand new to spreadsheets or if you've learned Excel a while back. I'd like to highlight one resource in particular. It's called DataCamp. They have all these different tutorials and classes, some of which are free, some of which you pay for, that's focused on programming and data science. How can you learn how to program in various languages to make use of data? And if you just type spreadsheet, okay, you can go to Spreadsheet Basics, and they have a nice 2 hours of how to get going. And a lot of what I'm going to cover here, they'll probably cover too. You can link it with your Google account if you'd like, or create a separate account. And I'm sure there are countless resources out there. I just want you to have a good sense of what it is to make a spreadsheet, so you can feel the confidence to learn some of this and then just dive right in. Okay, so overview, we have our basic rows, which are the numbers, and then the columns, which are the letter. You can size them. So I'm going to dive into the cursor clicks and keyboard. What I'm pressing on the keyboard, you can, of course, slow down, rewind if you need. I don't have that extra feature where you can see at the bottom what I'm pressing, so hopefully you can follow along. So we've got our, let's say, columns here. You can click them like this. You can resize like that. If you wanted to resize to exactly the length, you can double click and it'll go to whatever that amount is. We can highlight multiple of them, so I'm holding the Shift key. We could reorder them. That's going to throw off my outline a lot. I can just Command Z to undo, or you go up here to undo. And likewise, we can do it with the rows. So we can make a row much bigger. We can move a row around. And while we're at it, let's talk about frozen rows. What does frozen row and column mean? Let's say I wanted this top header row to always be shown. You saw how I clicked and dragged on that bar. Now that's going to stay fixed up there. Likewise, if I wanted my data to always have these two columns, now I have this particular row column pair always frozen. Now I can scroll over and that's fine. I like to, and this is just more of a personal preference, I like to try to delete all the extra ones. By default, it gives you A through Z, so 26 columns, and then it gives you, well, if we scroll to the bottom, 1,000 rows. And I like to go ahead and delete those. Before I do that, I talk about navigating cells here. What's very useful, you can scroll and click, but I like to use the Command key if we're on the Mac and then arrow down. You see how if you do that, that'll jump to the next cell. So if I'm in column A, where I just have episode 1 and 2 and 3, I hold the Command key, press arrow down, down, and then because A26 is the last cell in column A, when I do it one more time, it jumps all the way to the bottom. So this is a nice way to navigate around, but right now I will delete the extra rows and columns. Again, this is a personal preference of mine. You don't have to do this, but this is good practice. So I'm going to click on, let's say, this row. I'm going to hold Shift, Command, arrow down, and it's highlighted everything. And I can right click delete. All right. You could also do a number of other things. Right click is your friend. On the keyboard, I can do Command Option minus, deletes that. Likewise with the columns, I click column F, Shift Command right arrow, and then I can delete once again, either right click delete or Command Option delete. Okay, you can see that we have various formats, text formats. That is this button right here. I would say the main ones are just plain text versus numbers with decimals. Maybe you're dealing with financial. Dates. You can even set your own formats. One thing that gets tricky is when you're dealing with time. Maybe I'll add that. Um, Sort of like 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour. You got to be careful when you deal with that. But you can learn how to use the spreadsheet to help you manipulate that. As Wikipedia told us, we are organizing information and also analyzing data. And it's in a tabular format, like a table. So this sort of organization, it just lends itself to a better uh, organization, I guess, cleanliness of what you're trying to do. And I guess one of the origins is in accounting for money, but you can use it for that and many more other things. You can see down here, let's do a little zoom in. So you can rename your tabs. I think they call them sheets here. You can change it a color. You can give it a nice little accent underline. Um, as you get more and more sheets, then you can see this builds up. So you can click on this button here, all sheets move around. And then you can even hide sheets. So if I hide food, it's hidden. And all you have to go is up here. This is your traditional menu bar, all sorts of things. And you can say, hey, I've got a hidden one. Let's view it. Of course, help is useful. And then you have this shortcut. I don't know if it always works well. Let's try it. Option \. You can start typing in, hey, I forget where the hidden sheets was. I can start typing hidden. Oh, well, I guess that one did not show. Sometimes it doesn't have all the options. But you can see it does have a lot of things if you are not sure. All right, what else do we have here? All right, one thing to keep in mind, I like to think of Excel sheets, this is all interchangeable, as a way to visually program. And what that means is we can have the numbers and words actually too, and sort of lay out how the different steps. Imagine sort of pipes of information. You get some sort of raw data from a data source, and you want to sort of form it into something that is presentable for you or that you want to gain some insight. And this will make more sense when we get to the next episode. I have a note here, resize window to show menus. So notice that if you make it smaller, a lot of these options will collapse into here. So keep that in mind if you can't find something. Max screen is a good way to go. I guess maybe I'll highlight because we're just focusing on the lay of the land here. We're not worried about formulas of that yet. You have a lot of sort of standard formatting things. You have some things also that are specific to cells. So, for instance, when I made the row really large, then we can go here. And by default, it's a bottom align, but you can change it to a different one that you want. You also have an option for how to wrap the text. So by default, it's just going to extend over this line. You could have it wrap, and you see it's going to force row 6 to become larger, or you can have it trimmed off. I often like this option if I'm doing a shopping list and I have a bunch of URLs. Let's say all my URLs are in column D. I don't want to see that really long string. I know the information is there if I want, but I could just trim it off. What else do we have? Comments are good. You can put comments on certain cells, have conversations with other of your collaborators. Filtering is really good. I don't know if we'll get to filtering, but super useful. Also inserting links to websites. You have another options of making borders. And actually, there's a good number of keyboard shortcuts. Let's see, border here. You can easily apply the borders, the lines that go around it, just so you have some more organization. So I think this was a good overview. Again, the intent is to get you familiar with this. I actually learned Microsoft Excel way back, I believe, in middle school. I don't think it's something that all kids get. now. They might have sort of get it informally through various classes. So that's why I'm trying to create this resource. And this is also good for adults too. Maybe you've forgotten some of these things, or you've used spreadsheets, but you feel like there could be a better way. Whenever we're learning programming and these sort of applications, there are always better ways that you can do things. You can even see here, I can easily cut and paste, Command X, Command V for paste, or copy and paste, all those sorts of things that you're used to on a normal word processing. Those shortcuts apply. So I think this is a good place to stop, and we will continue next time in looking at some of the formulas. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.